You know the drill by now. We're in the Lighthouse of Lunacy still, and in the last video, we got Lillian on the stand. We got the detective and the sweets merchant, who's actually an FBI agent, onto the stand, and we thought we were basically hitting a brick wall because the testimony seemed to contradict. Now we managed to find out that she somehow was also in the vents. Also managed to witness this other murder too, and now her testimony contradicts with everyone's, and everyone's contradicting each other. And she's like, well, who really cares? And we're about to find out who really cares. It's still obvious who did it. How come every testimony just ends up turning this into a bigger mess? I wanted answers, not madness. Well, at least this should have put a dent in the credibility of the witnesses. Your Honor, I believe we require more testimony from this witness to get to the bottom of this.
What else is there to tell, though? She covered everything she saw downstairs.
That's well.
You may keep questioning her, but there is no need for further testimony.
Oh well, it was worth the try. Let's keep digging until I hopefully see the light. We're gonna find something else. A hole in the floor open. I fell into a cave full of ears. One other exit. Is that the back of a shelf, or is that just? Is that, you know what I mean? Is that one of the shelves with a back to them, or? I guess you could see, or maybe one of the ones that doesn't have a back, so you can see through it. You can get to it on both sides. This would have to be if Lillian's telling the truth about climbing over it, which she said she is. She entered the door of the evil smile. Does it say anything about the vents? So I'm wondering how she climbed back up. Well, I pointed out the obvious issue, but I didn't quite cut it. There's got to be more wrong here. Keep at it. Got, like, any ideas in the meanwhile? Not yet! Don't say that so proudly. I feel it's pretty obvious which part we need to attack the most. I'll totally get arrested if what she saw in the hallway is taken as fact. Okay, so keep focusing on finding an issue with that. Makes sense. Even if it doesn't clear me, you might be able to confuse them. And that's been my strategy from the start. Maybe the fact that she hasn't explained the face on the shelf, yeah? No. As you can see, there's quite the issue here if you consider this evidence.
I've been able to see anything of the sort, Miss Chase.
Do not bother. Those at the top of the bell curve would struggle to understand her ostensible logic. I naturally predicted this type of desperate move.
I see. Please make sure your point makes sense next time.
Which technically it's also you as you as well there, Your Honor. We already contradicted that with this. That's what we did last time. could be wrong here? I think anything contradicts the scan because she didn't walk past the other room where the motion detector was set up. The event wasn't mentioned in this statement, but it was mentioned in the testimony. But they assumed that no one went through it because only she's small enough to. Is there anything in Guard's autopsy I can use? I don't think we've used this in a while. Now what I'm confused about is, she's gone into the room and shot the gun. But she should have already been in the room if the theory is true, right? I guess they're implying the impression the face is she's put her face down there to look through. Don't think any of that could happen. Let me read through this again, actually. See what the gunshots. Again, I'm stumped. I got that contradiction the first time. I might need to use those hints again. Did you let me... This case does let you do things with the wording. A twisted hallway. What was the pattern design in the hallway? Distorted chessboard pattern. An ancient shelf. I mean, she's... The shelf doesn't look ancient, but that could just be her doing a, you know, explorer shtick. No, I didn't think that was it. I'm taking a penalty for that. We don't have the time this happened because she was asleep. headed back east and climbed up the way I came. Why would she say east? Does she have a compass? So I mean, from her perspective it would be, oh, I'm heading south. How would she be able to get her bearings? I don't think that's anything. No. There's nothing about the vents anywhere, is there? I guess I could point out the fact that no, I don't know what to point out. There were loud gunshots. So this was a brief pause here. Why didn't she hear the hunt devices actually? Could that be it? Because she's shocked by the loud gunshots, but not by the loud hunt device. No. I'm out of ideas then, so I'm gonna have to use the hints again. Well, I'll be back in a sec. I don't know how this happened, but last time, and some of you might have been probably screaming at me, I missed that there was something you could do on the first statement. We'll read through it again. I think we should talk about that weapon you lost. What was that exactly? Scared? Behold, the Orichalcum Trident. Do you know the definition of a trident? Sonic beam! Louder, but still not scary. How is that a weapon? You're not even using it. It will resonate with my voice and make it stronger. So shoot powerful sound waves and drown you. How would that drown me? Are you playing dumb? The waves, huge waves. That's how Atlantis sank. I was there when it happened. You know what? I'm just going to accept that as fact. More importantly, let's talk about when you lost that weapon. How did that happen? That was your fault. I dropped it when I saw you kill the merchant. That was too scary. I see. Well, something seems familiar about that weapon of yours. I have a good guess, but where did you get that thing in the first place? I found it in the treasure chamber. I assume that means a display room with a large hole in the window? Yes, that's where I found it. Just getting rid of that tab. The cube of infinite colors was also there, but I couldn't carry that much. In other words, you straight up stole it. What? No! I found it first, so it's mine. That's not how that works. It obviously belonged to someone already. That makes no sense. Why are there explorers if you can't keep what you find? You're a couple centuries too late for that logic. I don't want to give it back. It's a one of a kind. I'll never find something like this again.
You're going to have to return it. Regardless, there doesn't appear to be much reason to dwell on these points. It clears up her reason for being there, but it's irrelevant beyond that, no?
About that, Your Honor. And what happened last time is I must have accidentally clicked move on. instead of this, and just, not even realise that there was options here, because I checked the recording for last time and that's exactly what I did, so I apologise. The first hint did say, well, there's something pretty obvious you can point out if you... One of the things the witness just said is actually important to us.
Really? And which part are you referring to?
The place you found the weapon, the moment you lost the weapon. I was thinking about the fact it's one of a kind. She said this is a unique artifact. That's a very significant statement.
That would certainly be remarkable. Where is the relevance?
It'll become clear in due time.
I hope it will be before the end of this cross-examination. Please add that part to your testimony, Miss Mariko.
Okay. This orichalcum trident isn't one of a kind. I had to retrieve it. How can you be sure of that? I was there 10,000 years ago. Okay, I think it's time we stop with the nonsense. There's only so much I'm willing to entertain here.
A reminder that you're under oath to tell the truth, witness.
How could you tell? Fine, I'm not really a 1,000-year-old goddess. Almost had us fooled. So, to get back to something productive, what makes you so sure this is one of a kind then? Just look, I've never seen anything like this. In other words, it's actually only your personal impression. Yes, and I'm an expert. Was this blatantly made up as a get? Is it even worth pursuing this? Is it even worth pursing this point? Or should I look somewhere else? The fact that we have one. You would have done well to pay attention to the trial before you got called to the stand. Then you could have known how factually incorrect that claim is. Rude. I paid attention, I swear. Maybe I got a little distracted because you took forever. Well, you clearly missed this piece of evidence being presented. What? Looks just like your little trident, doesn't it? That weapon of yours isn't unique at all.
There's another one. I thought you just got it out of the court record somehow.
If you thought that, shouldn't you have said something? No, Your Honor. It was quite plain that there have to be at least 2 tuning forks involved here. The witness dropped this tuning fork while witnessing Mrs. Holden's death. She went to look for it during the last recess, but we had added the tuning fork to the court record by then.
I see. Well, even without that, I knew this claim had to be an exaggeration. Is there actually any reason to point this out, though?
Yeah, what? I just wanted to find something unique. Oh no, this goes beyond pointing out your weapon doesn't really make you that cool. This completely changed our understanding of something we discussed earlier during the trial.
It does? What would that be?
Recall this, TV. We established the tuning fork we had could be used to turn it off. If there was a second one all along, it's not unlikely that one is capable of turning it on.
Oh, certainly. They may have been kept for that purpose.
The witness confirmed that she dropped the fork she picked up while witnessing the struggle. That fork would have produced its sound upon hitting the bottom of the ventilation shaft. It's possible this witness caused the TV to turn on. I did what? The TV was then probably turned off by the other tuning fork being dropped.
Miss Chase, you accusing this woman of framing you. I thought the only one who could probably ensure the timing of the TV program was the victim.
Well, true. And Mrs. Holden wouldn't need an accomplice in the events. She could just have operated the TV directly. So, if this really happened, what's the explanation? Maybe it was just an accident. I have no real proof to accuse her with, so... She was like, ow, lightning, zap! And then, TV turned on. It's true the behaviour of the witness makes no sense if this was actually intentional. In that case, she wouldn't have even brought up the tuning fork on her own just like that. No, she clearly turned on the TV by complete accident. Wow, I didn't know I could do that.
It certainly could have happened.
Of course, the TV was off when you arrived in the room. Remember that the other tuning fork was also found on the floor?
It was both turned on and off unintentionally.
Well, it may sound unlikely, but I imagine there's a bit of cause and effect to it. When this witness snatched one of the forks, She may have unwittingly shifted the other one into a precarious position. After the TV was turned on, one other person opted to rush into the display room instead. The easily distraught Mr. Polo. He must have bumped into the display stand and caused it to fall down. That's how the TV got turned on and back off again, which inadvertently framed me just like Mrs. Holden intended to do.
Well, that's a fascinating series of events to think about. I do unfortunately not see how that's of relevance, however. Please do not try to steer things back to old points for no good reason.
Sorry, Your Honor. It's not strong enough to challenge the case Victoria built. No choice but to focus on getting to the bottom of the second murder for as long as I can. How many contradictions is it going to take? Hopefully only one more. Is there anything else I can press for? Quick, give me the other one. I'll unlock the secret power.
It's part of the court record, you're not getting this. Regardless, there doesn't appear to be much reason to dwell on these points. It clears up to her reason for being there, but that isn't relevant beyond that now.
I don't think the judge would appreciate if I kept trying to focus back on this. Try to find something in the other statements. I can't believe I completely missed that the first time round. Oh well. New hole in the floor had opened. Twisted hallway with an ancient shelf. Again, we're back to me being stumped. The doctor and the candy man ran inside a minute later. We've contradicted this testimony. This. So there's another contradiction with this statement. It has to be another piece of evidence. Clothes and bruises indicate a struggle. There had to have been a struggle. She can't have just shot. This could be something. No? Do you think it takes a little longer than a second for a struggle? We know it can't be the hunt devices. I don't know what this could be. So, I'm afraid I think I'm going to have to use another hint. I don't want to waste too much time ruminating because it's not really exciting content. So, I'll have a little think and I'll get back to you. The devil's in the details. I keep, misinterpreting things. A small imprint of face is visible in the dust. Now I thought maybe she was like leaning her head in that gap, so it'll really be more of a chin that's down there. But no, it really is she buried her face on the shelf. I didn't look up the solution, so I don't know if that's the logic, if that's for sure the logic they're going with. But when I looked at the hint, I put this together and checked if it was a shelf, and it is. Let me get this straight. You say you never took your eyes off the door the entire time you were in the hallway. A good explorer never loses sight of her dreams. Then I might have to send you straight back to explorer school. Because that claim is blatantly false. What? Watch your tone, brat? Oh, there's no insisting on this. All we have to do is consider why we called you here in the first place. You left quite an interesting impression on the shelf. Ah, yes. In order for that to happen, your face must have been pressed against the dusty surface. There is no way your eyes were still able to watch the door, or much else, while doing that. Sorry, I only looked away for a second. Or 2. Maybe 5. How come you kept that from us? I forgot about it. The gunshot scared me. I tried to duck down, but I ended up hitting the shelf instead.
Well, gunshots would make anyone try and get down or behind cover. This doesn't really seem like much of a contradiction.
Your Honor, this might have been enough time for someone to slip in or out of the room.
That may be true. However, this gap in observation happened after the gunshots rang out. At that point, Miss Maristella had already been seen entering the crime scene. The shelf and the previous witnesses still prove nobody escaped.
Right, thankfully.
I believe a simple clarification in your testimony would do, Miss Mariko. Just like a little mention that you did in fact look away briefly.
Okay. Well, it's another weakness. The case is just too strong to break that easily. I'll have to keep adding more cracks. Wait, no, I don't want to go back again. There can't still be something left to explore. What am I supposed to do? Oh, I guess there is more. But at least we've got a clarification to this testimony. I did the door almost the whole time. Yet you did look away briefly. Someone could have escaped your notice. Rude, but true. It was only for a few seconds. I didn't miss much. So maybe just enough to pass by once if you're fast about it. Let's look at the people you did in fact see. And how did they arrive? Don't know. Both were running. Were they carrying anything of note? The candy man was holding this tray. We already had this, I think. The star is on the front, but she does already know that the star exists. I don't know. And there's no way I'd be able to present that, because we don't have a picture of her with a shirt showing. How do I get out of this testimony? Let me leave. I had a feeling this witness would be annoying to deal with. Is that why you let me do it? Maybe. Great. You owe me some insights, at least. Because I might be reaching my wit's end. Keep your cool. I'll give you my input. Something about her own movements doesn't feel right to me. Maybe double check if the way she describes those can really be right. I'll take it. Let's hope that angle will lead me somewhere. Third time still didn't get to be the charm. 4 is totally a number of death. That's bound to come true one way or another. Because if the next one still doesn't take her down, I'm probably done for good. Because 4 is pronounced like the word for death in Japanese. It's shi. And that's also why if you play Ghost Trick, it's 4 minutes before death. 4 is basically the equivalent to 13 in Japan. That's where I saw the star on the shelf. her own movements. She headed back east and climbed out the same way I came. But how could she do that? If it's a hole from... There's no way to say where the vents are, though. I don't want to have to use the hints again, but I might have to. I don't want to... Again, for you, the viewer, this is probably quite painful right now. If you've already figured out that is. If not, then you can share in the pain of not knowing. Immovable mannequin. She wouldn't have seen that. She doesn't say anything about vents. I still want to know why she's describing it as east. She hasn't seen this diagram. But that doesn't really... I tried presenting that, didn't I? Well... I'm gonna have to, again, take another look at the hints. So, I'll, and if the hints don't help, I might have to spend a longer amount of time thinking, but we'll get there. I feel like this would have been a good place to put an in-game hint. When I tried to present that diagram saying, you're on the right track, but there's a better way of proving it. But I can see the logic behind it. I was on the right track with focusing on her saying east. And the fact that she couldn't have known that. But there's something that actually directly contradicts it, which is these holes. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm sure it must be these holes. Because it says one was discovered directly below the victim, the other's 2.5 meters to the west of it. And west is up on the diagram. West this way. No, she's saying she's going east this way. No, east is down that way. So she can't have gone down that way. It's a clever contradiction, but I do feel like there should have been, when I present the diagram, should have been like, it is kind of suspicious that she'd know the correct cardinal direction, but maybe there's a better way of proving this, or something like that. It is what it is. Say, why are you so sure it was east you went back to? The stars! After I fell down to the lower caves, I was stunned for a while. My legs hurt. I had to pause my journey and rest. I was a little confused when I woke up, so I looked out the window to figure out my coordinates. You can tell the cardinal directions just by looking at the stars. Impressive. This is basic stuff. Then I really have to wonder why your statement completely contradicts the facts. Huh? The stars can't be wrong. Could it be a rotating tower then? As it happens, I have a bit of information about the orientation of this tower.
But the diagrams, Miss Chase?
There's unfortunately no compass on those. For these holes in the floor, however, the detective was thankfully very precise. If you'd have mentioned that she used the stars, I don't know. The first hole was found right below the victim, and the second one to the west of it.
Hold it just a second, but this hole is pointing...
Bingo. West is up on our diagram. Therefore, right would be north. It follows that the study is on the northern side of the tower. And the autonomy room Miss Mariko dropped into should then naturally be facing the same way. And yet, she claimed the windows in that room showed the eastern sky. That's blatantly impossible. What? I think now we might be getting somewhere.
That's quite the contradiction. But what can it mean, really?
Well, clearly Miss Mariko's position on the lower floor was not quite what we assumed it to be.
I'm not so sure. Her account only makes sense if she truly was in the autonomy room. That appears to ultimately be all that matters, regardless of what parts of the sky she saw.
I don't quickly come up with an alternative explanation. This is bound to go nowhere. You got any ideas what this is supposed to mean? It might constantly feel like the sky is falling in the trial. But last time I checked, it doesn't just spontaneously move. The stars can't lie, so maybe it's her that got moved instead. That's the most sensible guess. She did mention being asleep for a while. But then, she managed to return upstairs from the room she woke up in. So shouldn't it be pointing north, like the one above it? Must be some layout shenanigans then. Yeah, I suppose. The judge is right though. Regardless of what this is, it doesn't really seem to change much for the testimony. Just insists it's really weird and should be looked into. Your Honor, this is quite the discrepancy. Clearly our understanding of how everything was positioned downstairs must be flawed. It's worth looking into, don't you think?
Look into it how exactly?
Well, let's go and investigate the lower floor.
Barring another visit to the lower floor, it's doubtful there is much we can do from here.
There has to be something we can do.
Feel free to get back to me if you think of something. Do keep in mind that it better be relevant to the case. Resume the cross-examination.
The judge is clearly getting impatient. Let's hope he'll keep humouring me. I absolutely have to find something case-breaking in this testimony. Oh, thank goodness. Again, Victoria saving the day. Unintentionally, but she's saving me from having to find another contradiction in it.
Well, this is truly the most asinine trial my greatness has ever been subjected to.
Crap, she woke up.
It has become painfully apparent that this court will entertain any of Aurelia's thoughtless caprices. Is this level of mental inefficiency the tragic norm in our justice system? I mean, we're just being... I do not remotely care for your rationalizations. To be alone is the fate of all great minds. A fate deplored at times, but still always chosen, the less grievous of two evils. I will allow myself to end this pathetic state of affairs, in case it has escaped your debatable attention. Already lost this bout hours ago. What she is currently attempting is the equivalent of starting a second game to distract from the first. I'm both impressed and concerned that nobody seems to have taken note. That she has made no effort to prove her laughable theory. All she has left are minor discrepancies to stubbornly stalwart. Does she hope everyone will simply forget she has already been checkmated?
These minor discrepancies may eventually add up to a major revelation.
It appears I'm unfortunately the only one present with more than 2 digits of IQ. Why should we still treat a witness the contents of grey bottle from a sheet as if she has any credibility?
Rude? She has a point. Can we move on already? Would love to be home before Christmas.
Order! That said, Miss Tristan brings attention to a good point. It does not really appear like the defendant is trying to prove her theory.
Naturally, this is merely another transparent ploy with her and Lillian,
who are both simply too stubborn to admit they're outmatched. I won't take kindly to this being true. Do you have anything to say to your defense, Miss Chase?
I wish I could, but I think I'm out of excuses to buy time. If determination was all it took to win, no one would suffer for it. Can I proceed with my cross-examination for a bit longer?
I think not. You've had more than enough time to examine every statement.
Last, the court sees some sense again.
Thank you for your contribution, witness. You may leave the stand now.
Wow. Does that mean I win?
I don't think we have anything to win here.
Oh, well, I'm happy I survived. I don't want to explore the exiled tower of the frozen moon garden anymore. This was the hardest battle since I rode the Great Double Drill Viper last December. I feared this would happen when I challenged the eyes of heaven. Luckily, I found Poseidon's trident during the deadly auction, or I would have been defenseless. Au revoir. You sure this is okay? Well, no. We're pretty screwed. It's taken all my effort to keep climbing out of the hole Victoria dug for me. And now she's ready to just drag me back down, right back down. It's not like we'll find another witness. There has to be a way to trip her up again. It's worked so far. It's good that absurd moves are her weakness, because I doubt I've got much else left. But what kind of stunt would even work at this point? Combust? Why not? Fascinating. You do enjoy strange developments, don't you? Unfortunately, this dead end isn't too helpful. Allow me to fix this.
Are you alright, Miss Chase? What are you doing?
Trying to combust, Your Honor.
Why am I still entertaining you at all, I wonder?
I can't allow you to dismiss this witness yet.
As I've said, Miss Chase, I've already thoroughly questioned her.
Can we just get to the lower floor, please?
You've clearly been granted enough time.
That may be true for her previous testimony, but, just now the witness made some additional remarks before departing. Huh? Is this your ill-advised idea of a joke? Nope, I'm pretty sure this is how it works. If the witness makes statements while on the stand, I have the right to examine them. This so-called witness has added nothing of value. Nevertheless, I have the right to examine it.
Please don't do this to me! To put it clear, you're just trying to stall now, defendant.
My motive should be irrelevant, no? Do I have the right to do this in a fair and impartial trial or not?
Regrettably, there is a precedent to this. You're technically allowed to cross-examine anything the witness has said. The
ones who wrote those laws were understandably unable to account for this degree of idiocy. If this truly has to happen, there should be an appropriate consequence for failure. Of course you jump straight to the maximum penalty. That's clearly unreasonable no matter how you look at it.
Well, that may be a bit much. The stalling certainly needs to come to an end. Something along these lines might be appropriate.
Is my health already too low to see the difference? In addition, we have witnessed what comes of allowing Aurelia to ask any more questions. She certainly forfeited her right to do any more of that asinine pressing. The whole point of a cross-examination is to ask questions. You can't just take that away from me.
I will allow you to ask a maximum of one question. Any additional ones will come with the appropriate cost. Are we understood?
I'll take it. You won't accomplish anything regardless. It'll merely pointlessly delay matters again.
Then let's proceed swiftly. Witness, please remain on the stand for a while longer. It seems Miss Chase still has something to discuss.
Let me leave already. You're all just being mean to me anyway. I kept her on the stand, but at what cost? Ugh. Please let there be something I can work with. Last words. The exiled tower of the frozen moon god. The double drill viper. I do want to hear about that. The eyes of heaven. We already know that's referring to the tower. Impressive. So all you've got left are those totally random statements. And you're not even allowed to press more than once. Plus, you get crazy penalties if you screw up, huh? I have a hunch you'll manage. How hard can it be? Thanks for the vote of confidence, I guess. To be honest, I really didn't want to keep this witness around because I got a bit of a hunch. Something's been nagging me about what she said. I only have to figure out what it is. Thinking everything on hunch? Now you're speaking my language. It doesn't really look like she's lying, though. That's unsurprising. No point to bring out lies when you're leaving the stand. If anything, that's when you get careless and let something slip you shouldn't have. I hate it when that happens in novels, but right now I'd love to see it. I just know a discrepancy is there somewhere. I have to remember everything, even the seemingly unimportant facts. I want to hear about the double drill viper. What in the world is a double drill viper? You'll never encounter one? Lucky. It's the most dangerous of all snakes, 120 feet in length. It has a split tail, that's why it's called double drill. Is it going to have some kind of venom? I see. Very dangerous, it sounds like. She's making it up, right? No, this is legit. You're messing with me. Girl, this is a real creature. I believe it's in an amusement park nearby. Oh. Right, that one witness mentioned it when talking about Luna Park before. It's a roller coaster or something. I totally get her comparing this trial to a roller coaster. Oh! He doesn't let in anyone who is like a certain age. I think it's anyone. You have to be 10. You can't be 10 years old. You have to be under 10 years old to get into the park. But if she went last December, she would have been at minimum 17. So maybe we did press the right statement. No, I think we have a much higher risk of getting derailed. Especially if this is the kind of info I have to work with.
That was your one free question, Miss Chase. I hope it was worth it.
We asked about that. Do we present her profile to show her age? I think I'm onto something here. It's not quite a contradiction. Yeah, a contradiction like this though. Not until we add another fact. This tower was originally meant to become part of St. Pablo's, but for rent instead. Now, where is the fact about the ages? Well, I just present Nellen's profile. I think there's... They must confirm they're 18. This proves she's 18. You've done it now, witness. You thought you got away, but you got careless in the end. It's you who got careless already. Check and mate.
I've heard enough of this. It's extremely clear you have no further arguments.
I do, but I'm just not sure how to present them. Nelland? I guess it is Nelland. And then we have to present Mariko. I didn't say it in the description, so... Oh, I guess this is 4 children. It just didn't say it didn't specify the age. This doesn't add up, witness. Can you at least make a proper effort with your bluffs? There isn't anything of value in this statement. It may in fact have negative value. The delusional fantasies of this witness are of no consequence. There's no delusion here. If you had paid attention, you would know that the double drill viper is a real thing. Mr. Nellen told us all about the main attraction of his amusement park.
You still remembered that? What of it?
Well, I presume this means Miss Mariko wrote this attraction. Is that right? Yes, that's what I said. I'm no coward. I wrote it and I didn't scream. So you say, and yet you could not have written it. Miss Mariko, you told the court that you're 18 years old. We got it on record. However, Luna Park is only open to kids aged 12 and below. I've heard stories of how strict the owner is about that. You literally couldn't have used that attraction last December, let alone enter the park at all. Rude. Eee.
My, well that's certainly not possible then.
Yes, and it's got quite the implications. You see... You! Stop! You should ask before you start doubting me, meanie. Well, by all means, explain how this is supposed to be possible. Okay. I just made a teeny tiny mistake. I mixed up December and decade. Sorry for the confusion. Oh my goodness. Don't look at me, it happens. Words are hard.
Well, I've seen people make worse slip-ups on the stand, so that is something I won't judge. I suppose this fateful encounter with the Viper actually happened in the last decade.
Could it? When was the park set up? Does it say? Well, I guess we can... This is a 4-year-old newspaper, so it was 4 years ago that found the lead still owned this tower. Yeah, and I wasn't over the age limit then. The tower, though, was the park already built at the time? Because the tower... Hold on. The tower was originally meant to become part of the park. But was the tower already... So they built the tower to use for the park. Then it was put up for rent. Okay, so we know the park is older than 4 years. Younger, but filled with the same adventurous spirit. 8-year-old me already had the courage to brave the trials of such a monstrosity. It's tragically believable she can talk like this, yet doesn't even know the 12 months. Well, this mistake was on the witness, then. As suitable a time as any to bring this travesty to an end. Nope, I'm not done yet. The witness should correct herself first, of course.
Well, I suppose this was indeed the fault of the witness. Please amend your testimony to be accurate.
What is the point? Okay. Let me go, please. This post-game is boring. Patience, it will be much longer before things get interesting. Why do you have to sound so threatening? You're the one who happily gave me the villain label. So let's find out. This will be over one way or another soon. Kids only. Luna Park finally opens. And this article is from 4 years ago. So how could she have gone to a park 6 years before it opened? Oh, I'm sorry, I confused decade with a different word. I'll give you one thing, you certainly are bold. But I hope you didn't believe that I'd let you off the hook that easily. What do you mean? I don't get it. It was a nice idea, saying that you actually visited the park a decade ago. Unfortunately for you, that isn't going to cut it.
That newspaper again? You sure you didn't mean to show something else?
It's an uncanny coincidence. Take a close look at the articles on the front page. There's a mention of the amusement park in question there.
You're right! There's an article covering Luna Park's opening ceremony.
I don't get it. Of course the park is open. I was there. The issue is the date this newspaper was published. I remember that quite well, of course.
That would naturally be 4 years ago. Hold on a minute!
It doesn't get much more blatant than this. Let me spell it out for you. Luna Park opened only 4 years ago. It was still under construction before that. There's no way you visited a decade ago. That was a bold-faced lie. Oh, wow, 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 wow! Who remotely cares about this? She likely employed the word improperly again. There's categorically nothing here if she didn't precisely mean a full decade. I'm pleased to inform you that you're completely wrong. This issue goes deeper than whether she meant an exact decade or not. How old did you say you were again, witness? 18! and yet the absolute earliest you could have visited the park was 4 years ago when it opened. It doesn't take much math to see that this doesn't check out, no matter what. At 14, you'd still have been too old to enter Luna Park. Yeah.
I understand now. Why would the Witness lie about visiting an amusement park of all things?
Well, obviously that's not something you randomly make up. Maybe if she was trying to brag, but not in this context. It's much more likely that she wasn't honest with us about something else. Stop with the dramatics. It is not to my juniors to understand the Witness lied about her age. This is where we bring up the fact that you need to prove that you're 18 to get in. And then, we're going to be like, well, how the heck did she get in if you need to prove, ID need to prove you're 18? We asked her to show her ID, she doesn't have one. Then we realised she got into the tower a different way, and then that proves that someone could enter and leave. It's trivial logic. If she was younger, she could have visited this park.
What? Well, to be honest, she does look pretty young for her age.
You think? Never crossed my mind. Well, yeah, that's the idea. She most likely really visited the park and let this fact slip without realising the implications. Which begs the natural question. It's precisely nothing of consequence. What does it matter how old the Witness really is? I'm perfectly willing to presume she's actually 14 or younger. Your contradiction has thus been explained, and nothing of value is gained. Completely wrong yet again. Miss Mariko cannot be any younger without creating another huge problem. Absurdity is spilling from your overworked brain. At least attempt to have some consistency. You really don't see the implications? Guess I'll have to enlighten the genius. The Witness cannot be younger, considering this. I present you with exhibit number 2. Everyone in this tower has to undergo a check by the guard stationed at the entrance. This entailed checking everybody's ID to ensure only adults were present. Of course, considering she's here, Miss Mariko should have undergone this check as well. That is... Seems like you're finally getting with the program, Victoria. Miss Mariko needs to be 18 years old to enter this tower. Yet, she has to currently be younger, 16 at most, to be able to visit Luna Park in the past. There's no recourse here. She couldn't have legitimately entered both places at the proper age. So which is it, Witness? How old are you really? You. Sonic Beam! You meanie, brat, twerp, villain, bully, dummy, baby, loser. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares?
Please try to calm.
It's always the same with your stupid rules. Too young for this, too young for that. Can't do this yet, can't do this anymore. Why should I care about that when adventure calls? You're the killer here. I saw you do it. I saw your friend the star do it. It doesn't matter what age I am. Nobody cares. Oh, somebody cares.
Oh, some of us care a great deal, little miss. All that scurrying around in the vents like a hungry rat. Could have looked past it. We got worse crooks here for that.
Help.
But if it's another matter you didn't even bother to stick to the basic rules of my It's another matter if you didn't even bother to stick to the basic rules of my properties. Tell me, why does it sound like you snuck your way into my tower like a lawless thug? Or worse, did you prey on the poor children in my Luna Park? Gotta be one or the other, it seems. Which one would you say it is, Miss Chase? Let's hear it. I hope you're not planning to harm the Witness, Mr. Nelland. I'm gonna be the judge of that, old chap. My property, my rules.
Sorry, Mariko. We all gotta watch out for ourselves here. You're right, it's one or the other. Given what we've heard, it's much more likely that the Witness entered this place at an improper age. I think it's a lighthouse. But we're going to answer this question next time. So, thanks for watching, and Hopefully next time we'll be able to... hopefully Nella won't be too harsh on her if she snuck into the lighthouse rather than the park. I have a feeling he cares more about the park. So, yeah. Bye!